Here's your host.
Good morning and welcome to the Farm and Home Show. I'm your host, Betsy Ann Tracy, and we have special guests with us, Miss Brittany Young. Good morning, Brittany.
Good morning.
Brittany is the Warren County SNAP educator, here to tell us a little bit about cooking with herbs. And this is kind of the perfect time to start cooking with herbs.
It is. Well, it's the perfect time to really plant your herbs. We just did that at my house last weekend, and we've already utilized them and cooked with them several times this week. So it's a really great time if you're interested in doing an herb garden or maybe learning about cooking with herbs. If you've never done it before, this is a great time to really get into that.
That's right. Because, I mean, really, just to buy a couple of these are really inexpensive.
It is. Probably a couple dollars a piece, maybe a little more. And you're going to utilize them so much. They grow so quickly. Anytime you come back to cook with them, I mean, it's not just a couple of days and you'll look out your window and they'll be full grown again.
Yeah.
So you can use them a lot.
Yeah, and I think one of the best things about cooking with herbs is not only the taste they bring, but they actually can make your meals healthier.
They can. Well, really, a lot of times people say, I don't want the herbs to take over any of the flavor that my food gives, and it doesn't do that. It really enhances.
Right.
It enhances a lot of the flavor.
Because you want chicken to still taste like chicken.
Exactly.
But putting a little rosemary on there is going to really
bring out some of those flavors.
Yeah.
And a lot of any type of seasoning or marinade that you're going to buy at the grocery store that they have on the shelves, a lot of times it has so much sodium, so much sugar, it has a lot of fat and a lot of calories, and herbs, they're an excellent way to cook with different recipes and cut out some of those calories.
Yeah, because a lot of times you look at those little spice mixes, and if you look at the ingredients,
you'd be surprised.
It's listed first.
Sodium is the huge thing. You'd be surprised if you looked at that. And the marinades too, the liquid marinades, and sugar too. I tell people all the time, they say sugar is in, marinade, and it is. It's a huge factor. So when you're using herbs, you're cutting back on all of that stuff. It's healthy and it's natural. If you grow them, you can go right out your back door and pick them. You don't have to buy anything extra. You're saving money in the long run. It's all around. It's a really good choice.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people are surprised by how much they might use them.
You are. You're really surprised. And I've found that if you grow them, I'm starting to look for ways that I can incorporate them more often. So I know that I have basil now, so I want to try to cook so I can use them, and you can experiment. You can put different herbs together and put on my potatoes, which is what I did today.
Nice.
And I think I used rosemary and oregano, and I just threw whatever I had in there because, you can kind of make your own seasoning.
That's right. A little olive oil and just bake those.
That's what I've done. This is olive oil and some of my favorite seasonings, and I baked them. That's a really quick go-to dish. If you're looking for a side item, at dinner time, this is a great choice. That's what I've done over here too. I've just halved my little tomatoes, my cherry tomatoes, and I put olive oil, basil, and a little salt and pepper.
Yeah.
And I had my basil out my back door, and salt and pepper, of course, you always have, and so just quick and easy. You can serve it cold and
absolutely. And cost effective.
It is. It's very cost effective.
Yeah.
A lot of times people will buy the season packets, and what do those cost? Sometimes over $1. If you start to look at that aisle, some of them are over $1. And so these, like I said, I've probably spent a couple dollars on each of those, and it's going to last me a long time.
Yeah, and especially if you look at some of those herbs that'll come back year after year. You can plant them out there outside, and then year after year you're going to have that parsley come back, and so that's just a great way. Not to mention that you can put them in oils, you can dry them.
Yes,
you can
freeze them.
You can freeze them in your ice cube containers and really use those throughout the year.
Yes, and you don't have to just do the vegetables. You do meat, like you mentioned. Chicken, fish, seafood. It's a great way to utilize your herbs. Mixing them in salads. I mean, really, the options are just endless.
They really are. And for anybody out there that's wanting more information, at the Extension Office, we have a lot of publications.
We do.
And information. Recipes.
Tons of recipes.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know that we've got some on raising herbs, and so if you're trying to figure out what to do, whether they need sunlight, all that kind of stuff, you can contact our local Extension Office. We also have one on drying, ways to preserve those, like we were talking about freezing. So just contact your local Extension Office to get that information. Thanks so much, Brittany.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, and thanks for watching the Farm and Home Show.